Welcome to the trail reviews of our local area. So today we're talking about Claireville Conservation Area, which is Brampton, pretty close to the GTA. So this is somewhere I have ridden on and off for a year or two, and I am mentioning it because as we rolled out of winter, um, and there was still snow and ice, but it wasn't enough to fat bike on, and everything was still wet and sloppy. I went here a few times because it's not a trail association. It's managed by the Toronto Conservation Authority. The trails are pretty wide. They're pretty hard packed. There is a bit of single track through the woods, but generally nobody cares. You're not going to get into trouble with anybody getting sniffy because you're riding on their precious new constructed berms or anything. So I tend to park at the north end off of Queen Street. If you look on Trail Forks, there's two parking signs, one at the bottom, one at the top. The one at the top tends to be a lot of people park in the car park and just hang out for whatever reason. So you can either go up the road a little bit and drop down onto the main Claireville road trail thing that goes through the middle. So you go through some gates and then ride up the road and you'll see a left and then like a big field. I don't recommend that unless it's dry. It's flipping hard work if it's wet. I tend to go out the car park and there's like a little side trail to the left, which is blue on Trail Forks. So I tend to go into there, go left, and then go left again, and follow the Claireville Creek Trail. And it's interesting. There's some bridges and stuff. You can like zigzag around. It's like cubes, this place. So there's always a right turn or a left turn. And there's some interesting stuff. So you can follow the Claireville Creek track, and then you can get up onto something called the Humber Ridge Trail. And then there's another trail called Creekside, which has got a bit of elevation. And actually, when you're riding along the side of the creek on this narrow trail, you have to focus on what you're doing, because if you fell off, it wouldn't be very pleasant. And then there's another trail called Powerline Trail, which kind of links the one side with the other. So the Powerline Trail, if you drop out of that and then kind of loop back on yourself, and you can just keep doing loops, and if you get lost, there's every so often you'll come to like a map that says where you are, and there's these numbered posts, and you can kind of figure out where you are based on the numbered posts. And I would say that pretty much everything between the 407 and Queen Street is rideable. There's a few other little trails, but they tend to be dead ends, or you just end up in brambles. And the main trail system, if you like, goes along the river that runs through the bottom of it, and then you sort of climb back up to the top, and you can do multiple loops. There's some fun stuff. There's like a little corrugated iron tunnel that goes under the service road. And then there's like a hard right by a tree that's fallen down. And you ride along the side of the river, and it's interesting enough. And you can then, when you get back out onto the main service road, if you then turn right, you'll see a sign that says no orienteering. If you go right up there, you've kind of got the river behind you. There's a big slope to your right, and if you look left, there's a little trail goes off to the left. If you get on that and stay on that, that's probably one of the most interesting trails in this wood. And there's a few things on there that make you think, especially if you ride to the end. There's a very steep descent back down to the river where you can kind of loop round and do that again and again and again. So for me, this is a great place to ride in the evening if you don't want to see too many people. It can be a bit mosquito-y, and it can be a bit busy with dog walkers. In riding there maybe 10 times over the last 12 months, I've maybe seen mountain bikers there once or twice. But it's half an hour from the city centre. It's makes a change from riding somewhere like the Don Valley. It's a fairly good place for beginners because it's well balanced. There's quite a lot of litter, and there's quite a lot of people wandering around that aren't used to mountain bikers. There's also quite a lot of coyotes in the summer, or in the autumn. I ran into quite a big group one night that were kind of just mulling about on the trail. They weren't bothered by me, but I know a couple of people that I bumped into have said, they were followed by them, and whether that's true or not, I don't know. I find that hard to believe. I guess they could be food conditioned, but I generally think coyotes just want to stay away from humans, really. So there you go. If you get a chance, Claireville Conservation Area, definitely worth a visit. Pretty much rideable all year round, even in the wettest, sloppiest conditions after the snow melt. It was still enough that was rideable, that was interesting. So yeah, check it out and give it a try. Thanks for listening. Be back again soon.